Welcome back to Chow Time Pods. Your host, Red. I got a video today from the TikTok time capsule.
Trump administration announced the Education Department will start collection next month on student loans that are in default. That's roughly, we're talking about 5.3 million borrowers that are in default. What do people need to know?
That's a lot.
Okay, if you work for the federal government, then your wages could be garnished if you're in default. If you get a tax refund, that tax refund may be actually garnished by the federal government. And if you are getting a notice that says you are in default, there will be 30 days and the government could actually garnish your wages. To be clear, this is something that people who owe money need to pay attention to. Also,
I mean, anybody that owes money, this is a normal thing. It's called collections, credit cards, any type of loans, student loans. And it's nothing, nothing new about it, but there were a lot of loans that are in deferment or whatever it's called. So a lot of people for the last few years just didn't touch their loans, especially cars and everything. Student loans is one of them.
all of the people in default, we are now seeing reporting to credit agencies. We haven't seen that before. Wow. So we now know that credit scores are dropping for these borrowers by somewhere around 130 points.
This is a PSA for everybody who has not been paying back their student loans, maybe like me.
Again, not paying back their student loans. At least if you were attempting and doing things, I'd give you a little bit more sympathy. But the people that just don't even try or just like, I'm not paying my loans back. You made decisions. You made choices in life. You fucked up. Now you got to pay for it.
I don't know, in the last year or two, my credit score just went down 184 points. What are we doing? What the fuck do I do now?
Y'all, they about to garnish our wages. They really know how to just ruin your day. The U.S. government hates everybody here.
Victim mentality. U.S. government just hates everybody. Everybody that owes money to the U.S. government.
Y'all, as of May 5th, they're taking 15% of your wages towards student loans. Y'all, I've been ignoring student loans since I've been in school. If y'all...
You're the people that we talk about that did all these things and thought it was going to be free or supposed to be free for you, and then spout to the top of the world that you're so highly educated and you're the highly educated demographic. Are you that educated though? Are you?
Know how much I owe in student loan. Y'all would think I went to school to be a lawyer. And it's a degree that wasn't even providing me a decent lifestyle. I was just living off vibes. So you mean to tell me I went to school and y'all lied to me? Y'all wanted me to go out there and do triple the work to get a degree. Y'all, I owe so much money. I'm in Texas, so we don't have state tax. 15%. Hell, you might as well go ahead and add 5 more. Add 10. Because that's the state tax. I cannot believe this. I just had to pull over, y'all. My head started throbbing. I'm about to get a headache. They're doing this in a couple of weeks, y'all. I gotta go do deferment. I gotta go do something, y'all. We can't get away from this. People are even already saying that.
See, all she's trying to do is get away from this. Not trying to take care of your own debt, take care of your own thing. No accountability whatsoever.
Their credit score has dropped from a 700 something to a 500 something. Oh my gosh, my credit score. 15.
I mean, is your credit score really that good at 700 and something when you actually owe so much money and that went into collections? They just didn't ever collect it or put it in collections this whole time?
Percent, whether you have it or not, as of May 5th. So long as you have money in your bank account, they are taking it. In fact, financial aid just called me the other day and I hung up on them. Not in the mood, don't have it. I'm living off life. I'm vibing. This man really said, you know what?
Broke, dusty, musty, crusties.
But let's make the rich richer. Let's make the others poor.
Just
Again,
found out that my
victim
estimated
mentality.
student loan debt payoff is in the year 2049. 2049. 2049.
You got a ways
Do
to
I have
go,
my
lady.
fiance start planning my funeral today or tomorrow?
How much do you...
Fiance. So your fiance is gonna marry you and accumulate that debt to himself. This is why we gotta tell men to be careful out there. Don't date the broke, dusty, musty crusties, especially the college-educated broke, dusty, musty crusties, because they're broke, dusty, musty crusties, plus they got massive debt that's gonna transfer to you.
You owe in student loans and how much have you paid? Because I just went and looked at how much I owe versus how much I paid. I graduated a decade ago and I owed $50,000, right? And I said, you know what? I'm just going to be consistent. I'm going to pay my bill. And, eventually that amount will go down. And I've paid $200 something a month.
$200 something for what? $50,000? Are you dumb? You dumb. Like, financial education is so important. I wish we taught this in school. I wish at least there's something that actually there is something. I actually work with a financial company that really tries to educate people on finance, just because this parents out there don't understand this and they send their kids out to get these loans. Kids don't understand any of this and they go themselves to get these types of loans. You're paying 200 to a 50,000. Just compare this to how cars work. If you had a $50,000 car, that car payment is probably going to be $900 to maybe $1,000 to pay it off within the 5, 7, whatever years they set it up at. Your 200 and something dollars maybe barely covers interest.
Since then, right? 200 something a month. It has been 10 years later. I started at 50,000. It's at 47,000, right? I've paid $25 plus $1,000 since I graduated college, and it's only down 3. It's not making sense. It's not making sense. 200.
It makes sense if you understand interest. This is why people really need to understand interest and the documents they're signing. And I totally understand a lot of these people are kids. They were kids when they signed a lot of these documents. They didn't know anything. So this is where I do feel bad, because society, parents, everybody told everyone, men, women, children, go to college, go to college. They went to college, and then they set up this the everybody go to college thing, and then set it up massive predatory loans for all this new wave of idiots going to college, in a sense.
$100 is already a nice sized bill. What do you want me to do? Why does it have to be so aggressive? I'm not understanding. I'm trying to pay the money back. I'm giving you what I got. You know what I'm saying? Am I supposed to be paying it for the rest of my life? Do I have to pay $1,000 a month to see progress? Like, it's getting out of hand.
I have paid $15,000 towards my student loans since I graduated in 2018. So the past 6 years, I have put $15,000 towards my student loans, particularly my Parent Plus loan that the original balance that we took out was a little over $17,000. And I have paid $15,000 towards that loan over the past 6-ish years. You want to know what my balance is now? My balance
15?
is still around $15,500. So that means I have spent $15,000 over the past 6 years for my...
Again, a lot of these people are just paying the minimal payments to be able to cover the interest a little bit, and then, pay the principal by like $5 or something. People just need to understand finance a little bit better and really kind of dumb down their life, as in their lifestyle and everything, and start paying these things off, because they ain't going away.
My balance to only go down by like $1,500. That means I have spent $13,500 roughly to just interest. And that is the issue with student loans and why people want them to be forgiven and people want reform.
I understand why they want them forgiven, but I'm not willing to take taxpayer dollars for people that didn't go to college to pay off people that went to college. That doesn't make sense to me.
Is because of the interest. The interest makes it nearly impossible for a normal person to pay off their loans.
I agree that we should reform a lot of these interest rates and just how a lot of these loans work.
I have no problem paying off the loans that I took out from the government. I have no problem paying them back. I have been paying them back. I've been making my payments every single month, but the interest makes it impossible for you to be able to actually pay down your principal balance so you can pay them off one day. Interest compounds daily, not like a normal car loan or like a mortgage or credit cards or anything like that. Like, student loans are so different and the interest goes up so incredibly fast that unless you have large amounts of money to make large payments to pay...
I don't think the interest rates go up differently, but
down your principal,
I could be
you
wrong.
are just basically never going to be able to pay off your student loans. And it's absolutely insane that I have essentially wasted over $13,000 the past 6 years trying to pay off these loans. And my balance has only gone down about $1,500. That's absolutely insane. It literally makes me sick to my stomach that I have wasted that much money over the past 6 years by being responsible and paying my loans. It's so gross.
Okay, I do feel for the people that do pay their loans off, that've been trying and are not in default. I feel for them.
So I went to college in 2016, and my freshman year, I had to take out a couple of loans so I could go to school, you know, like most people do. After that, I worked multiple jobs, so I wouldn't have to take out any more loans. In fact, by my senior year, I paid for the whole thing by myself. So the loans I'm talking about are the loans from 2016. My mom, being the kind, wonderful, amazing human being that she is, took on one of those loans for me. Like, she's been paying it. And she has been paying it every single month since I took it out in 2016. Keep in mind, it is now 2023. So we're talking 7 years later. She told me as of a couple of weeks ago that she still owes the same amount of money on that loan as she did in 2016.
That one is a little crazy. I don't know how to believe this one. If she was paying off the loan before you even graduated, that means that interest shouldn't have occurred yet. So you should have been able to pay off a good amount of principal before interest occurred. But
can't even make a dent in it. This is an adult woman with an extremely stable job and a house. Can you imagine what student loans are doing to people fresh out of college trying to find their way and struggling with the rising cost of housing? Student loans are way more predatory than you can understand at 18, but they
True.
know that, and they want to keep you down.
Correct. I can somewhat
Everyone's
agree
always
with
like,
that.
Brenda, why are you working so hard? Why are you doing a full-time job and posting on TikTok all the dang time? It's
You know, people like that always just confuse me. Like, I get a lot of people that ask me, why do you work so hard? Why do you do all these things? Why do you always constantly busy? And because I want better. Because I'm striving for better. I want better for my own life. I want better for the future life of my family. I want the better for my immediate family. That's why I work so hard. What's so stupid or weird about me working so hard? Everybody's in this mentality they want to just live this easy, cool, like extravagant lifestyle without working. No, if you want that lifestyle, guess what? You're going to have to put in some hours. So stop telling people stop working so hard or why are you working so hard.
because I have $78,327 in student loans. And you want to know how much unpaid interest I accrued in the month of February? $523.93. And this is me paying at least a minimum of $2,000.
Oh, damn, she's paying good chunks in
Per month. Started with a little bit over $150,000 because I had the bright idea of going to grad school so that I can graduate in a health.
You know how many women have multiple degrees and like grad school degrees but don't use them? Again, this is why they own a good chunk of the student loan debt. Most men are probably just going to get a bachelor's degrees, maybe $30,000 in debt. Women are just going in for masters, going in hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt.
Healthcare job to help people, but not get paid enough for the amount of student loans I had to take out. Now, my fault, I went to a private university, but still, it shouldn't be this hard to pay off student loans. But based on my PT salary alone, there is absolutely no way that I could pay this much with just that salary alone and live a breathable, decent life. Make it make sense?
I'm not paying back my student loans. I do not care. Oh, but what about your credit score? What am I going to do with a good credit score? Buy a house on starvation wages? Buy a car I can't afford to insure?
Like, obviously we can tell this man is a very liberal type man here. Like, just to give up your responsibilities because you think it's unfair or whatever. As a man, people look down on you. This is why I look down on him. Why? Because you took out these loans, you have these consequences, and you're trying to be a woman about it. Trying to escape these consequences.
I'm not paying them back. I don't give a shit about my credit score. Oh, they're going to garnish your wages. Most of us are underemployed. If they start taking additional money out of my paycheck, I just won't work. My life will not get worse. I'm not going to have the money anyway, so...
So most of us are unemployed is what he said. So you have a massive amount of debt. How are you living? How are you not being able to do anything and being unemployed? This is the problem we have with a lot of the younger generation.
You can't garnish what isn't there. I grew up in a far-right, conservative, hardcore Republican family. And
I can
since
kind
like
of tell that
kindergarten,
he went to
I
the
have
complete
been
opposite.
conditioned to believe that if I did not go to college, I would not be successful.
See, I love to have the label far right conservative. No, everyone, liberals, conservatives, it didn't matter. Everyone got pushed to college, jackass.
I was told that if I locked in, got great grades in high school, got into college, focused, and got my degree, that I would have a life similar to the life my parents had, where my dad worked one job for like 35 years, was able to buy a house and go on vacation and support his family.
You know, it's wonderful. We can look back in history, right? But it's changed. As much as people want to say, "Oh, it's this and that," back, I understand, but now it's not like that. So you have to do things differently to survive. I'm sorry, that's just how the world works. As time progresses, things change, sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. Doesn't mean you don't have to survive and do the things you need to do necessary in that time era. You want to go back into those days, but the modern convenience and comforts you would never want to give up to go back into those days.
That doesn't exist anymore. There's no jobs out there with pension plans. There's no jobs out there that let people my age just like buy a house. So
You
what
hear that? Just let you buy a house. No, you got to earn.
was all that work for? Generations of Americans have been told that if they went to college and they did the right thing, took out these loans, that it would be worth it. And most of us are finding out it's not even remotely close to worth it. You're telling me these millionaires and billionaires were able to get these PPE loans forgiven that they took out during the pandemic for millions of dollars? But I have 30 grand in college debt left and I'm refusing to pay it back, and now I'm the problem?
They just said.
I mean, I do agree about the whole PP loan thing, but it's a different topic, so.
That 92% of the people that went to college and racked up all the
92?
student loan debt don't and won't have jobs in the degrees that they got the debt in.
And then maybe you should start focusing on good degrees that are going to get paid. And
So
have
why y'all asking
careers
us
for
to
you.
pay this money back? If you know that, why are we being asked to pay?
Because you took out the money, you literally took the money and used the money for something. And it's that's something we cannot take back, which is your education. Sorry, you owe money.
And then this is the thing that gets me. Before I could even lift my right foot out of the door frame of graduation, my university was already contacting me for a donation. It's because of y'all that I'm a bam flipping donation to the Department of Education. And now they want to garnish our wages. What?
And again, it is black women that love to spout that they're the most educated, they're more educated than black men, and all these things. Are you really that much more educated than black men? You are definitely much more in debt than black men, for sure.
What did you go to school for? Did you graduate with your degree? And are you actively using your degree to make tons of money like they promised you? Was it worth going to college? Was it worth racking up all this student loan debt? And even if you did go to college, finish your degree, you walked across the stage and you got your pretty degree, have you finished paying back your student loans? Will you pay back your student loans?
Last night I had to log into my student loan account to print out the paperwork to have my taxes done today. So I got to get a glimpse of my student loan balance for the first time in, I don't know, presumably a year. I honestly don't remember knowing what I owed still. Now, for a point of reference, I graduated in 2011. Okay, so I've been making student loan payments for almost 14 years. I actually did the math. It was about 165 monthly student loan payments that I've made so far. Okay, now I went to pharmacy school. I'm a pharmacist. That's
Okay, so she actually went for a good degree and chose a very solid career, I guess.
the doctorate degree. It took 6 years. I went to a private school, not because I wanted to, but at the time, there were only 6 schools in the state of Pennsylvania with a pharmacy program. 2 of them were state schools, 4 of them were private. Chose the school I chose because they gave me a $12,000 a year academic scholarship for the first 4 years. So I got $48,000 worth of academic scholarship. So that's
Okay.
why I chose that school. So my education, even with the scholarship, costs still like $250,000 roughly. Now I'm
Again, this is why women own majority of that student loan debt. Not just because they go to college more often. No, they take on huge loans. Holy, how many women that have master's degrees or multiple master's degrees or multiple bachelor's degrees that don't use them? Why did they get multiples? Just to owe more money?
fortunate. My parents paid for a really good chunk of that, over 100,000. I don't remember the exact numbers, honestly, of how it all washed out. But I do know when I got my first student loan bill in the mail, well, I almost shit a brick, but my balance was like right around $125,000. Okay, 165 monthly payments on $125,000. How much do you think I still owe?
70, 80, 50?
$78,000.
Oh, shit. That was close.
Yeah, I don't know. The math isn't mathing. Now, full disclosure, I did refinance at some point.
It is funny when you hear women saying the math isn't math.
Which is a horrible idea. Like, at the time, it seems like a good idea because the monthly payments are so, like, overwhelming. But in the long run, you're screwing yourself when you refinance a student loan.
I mean, this is why you need to understand finance. Not every time you refinance isn't always a good thing. Sometimes you screw yourself even worse.
You just are. So 165 monthly payments. I never deferred it. I never missed a payment. And I still owe $78,000. And I've been out of school for 14 years. My oldest turns 10 next week. So realistically, if she decides to go to college, I'm going to be still paying my student loans and likely still owe like $30-some thousand on my student loans when I'm trying to figure out how to pay for her college.
This is why you got to use compound interest to your own advantage by start saving for your kids' college when they're very, very young. And then that interest that is screwing you over will end up helping you at least for the college fund.
And I don't know what the solution is to this whole situation. I don't think loan forgiveness is fair. I don't think taxpayers who didn't go to college should have to have their tax money pay off the student loans for those who did choose to go to college.
Agreed.
I don't think that's fair at all. But I do think something needs to be done because universities are charging like obscene tuition.
I agree with this too.
Student loan companies are doing predatory lending to children and setting up people for like a lifetime of debt. Like you're starting out your adult life with like crippling debt. And I don't know what the solution is here, but
I mean, negative 120 something is pretty crippling.
Something isn't working.
These student loans, like the calls, are really making me regret ever going to college, considering I'm not even doing anything in my degree. But like these calls are just a reminder that I'm like, first of all, doing nothing with my life. Second of all, broke as shit. And yes, I ha.
Broke, dusty, musty, crusties. This is why I never really suggest like dating broke women, right? Maybe they don't have great careers. Maybe they don't have like, a college education or something. As long as they're not this broke, right? As long as they don't have college debt and they have a normal job, they are in much better boat than these women that have master's degrees that are boss babes.
Haha about it here, but like it's literally not a joke. It's like embarrassing and it's like the most stressful thing, and I never want to be the person that's like driven by money. Like that's not me, but like sometimes I wish I was.
I talk about it. Money is not everything, but it can provide almost everything.
So I wouldn't be in the position I am in, and like dealing with these calls and having to basically say my situation, like I literally cannot pay off an amount on these damn student loans. And then the fact that they're so relentless, they call every person in my family, they call people not related to me but like associated with me, and I don't even know how it's just crazy. And it's like
with AI nowadays, they can track you very easily, like by just your name and address. Just that alone, AI can pull up your freaking social security number from that.
I hate it. It's like you're coming at me for my own little debt when this country's in debt. Like it's so frustrating and it gets me so angry, and literally it's like I avoid these calls at all times. They send me into full-on panic attacks. But then sometimes I just have to
make the call because they're calling everyone else in my life. And it's so frustrating. And yes, maybe I did it to myself. Maybe I should be smarter about money. Maybe I should just take on any job that, like...
Wait, you're not even working. So you're complaining about all of this and just being unemployed. Just like that one gentleman said, right? So you went to college to be college educated, to be so smart, and to be this high class, but you don't have a job. Just work a damn job so you can pay some bills.
Will pay me, and I'm luckily finally starting a job, but it's not what I want to be doing. Not using my degree. It's another serving job. It's fucking working at Hooters at 28 years old, living back at home. It's like... And then it's moments like these that make me question whether anything I want to do in life is going to happen, like at this stage, because...
I mean, girl, you're about to hit the wall. You're a broke, dusty, musty, crusty. You owe a lot of money.
It's so annoying. And I just had to vent because... fuck it all.
So our loan officer came back and said, LOJK, for the amount that we are approved for getting a house, and lowered it by $50,000 because of our student loans. So the number really wasn't an issue at first, but now that everything happening with student loans and everything, we'll have to start making payments on them in February for my husband and March for me. So our loan officer was like, LOL, nah, dog, we're not approving y'all for that amount. So let me show you all these numbers. So this is my husband's.
35. That's reasonable. I mean, for a good college education, I guess.
$1,108. And this is mine.
Again, why women owe most of that debt. They want those higher degrees. They want more degrees just to flaunt against men or whatever it is, which I've noticed a lot of them is used to do that. But look how much money it cost them. And look how much money the gentleman, her husband or fiance, took. 30-something thousand versus 120-something. Who are the broke, dusty, musty, crusties, even though you're highly educated?
$121,264. So, of course, we're obviously bummed out. I think I'm more so bummed out because I just feel like I am just kind of stuck in this financial hole. And I know that the path for me was to open my practice and right out of school and yada, yada, yada. But it's just kind of like, I'll look at my friends and how they started working right out of school. And I'm like, if I just started working right out of school, we'd be definitely in a different financial spot than where we are. But I can't compare. But it's heavy. It's heavy because I'm working really, really hard at this practice. And if you've ever started a business, you work the hardest, but at the beginning stages, you definitely make as if you're not working at all. So this year I am going to work really hard with social media, and I'm going to use all of the money that we make from social media and put it directly towards our loans.
Every time I hear social media, I only think of TikTok nowadays because no one ever mentions YouTube and stuff. They always mention TikTok. I don't really think TikTok pays that much, does it? Because I've been told it doesn't really pay. It pays pennies.
So I will share that process
unless you're like
how
millions of followers.
Get everything broken down and just how much we're putting towards the loans and how much I'll make every month off social media. And I just hope that, this is just the year that social media just takes off. Even though TikTok might go away, I don't know. I really don't know. But that's where we're at. So, that's what we're just going to have to do. Unless 135,000 people Venmoed me $1 to put towards these loans, I got to get in my bag and get to recording some content.
Okay, I actually need TikTok to vent for a second. If you're a lawyer or anyone really who has graduate student loans and didn't have any help when they went to law school or medical school and all that, how are you guys feeling right now? Because I feel like my entire life I've done everything right per se. I've went to college, I went to law school, I worked my ass off. I'm still working my ass off, and honestly, part of me is like, why did I do this to myself, you know?
I think a good chunk of what's going on is men are willing to sacrifice their lifestyle, especially in the beginning of everything, and pay off all that loan. That's why I think a lot of men do have lowered loan debts and just or debt free after a few years, where women, they want to keep the lifestyle. They're making this much money, they want to spend this much already. They only allocate so little to the loan itself. I'm not saying all women or anything. That Asian one seemed like she was putting $2,000 a month every time. $2,000 a month is significant.
But with all of that, I have student loans, and in order to pay them off and not have an insane amount of interest, you have to pay a shit ton off a month, right?
Yeah, you do.
But in this economy and with the types of jobs available, it's like hard to do both, you know? It's almost as if, should I just for the next 20 years not buy a home, not have a family, and pay off my student loans? Or should I live my life, pay off what I can, be a mom, have kids, get a house, and obviously over time I'm gonna have to pay a hell of a lot more?
Again, just makes it so much harder for women to start families, especially when you're 24 in massive debt.
I don't even know. And then there's the whole, I used to have like a payment plan, but now all of that's paused because of the new administration. No one really knows what's going on. It just kind of feels like a mess. And I don't know, like I just feel like there's no winning in life. Like there's no winning. I am like very pessimistic and depressed right now, honestly. If anyone else is going through this, let me know your thoughts, because I like need to talk to people about this.
This is why we push men towards trade, towards electrician, plumbing, a lot of these other fields that don't need college educations. Hell, you can just go train with professionals immediately and they'll start paying you. You know, after a few years, you can even start making hundreds of thousands of dollars, because these jobs are so sought after. As in, they're looking for people to work these jobs. There's not enough people to work them. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that, and I'll catch you guys next time.